Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Chesapeake Thrive Show. My name is Shaughnessy Butler, and today we have a special guest, Miss Melanie Beck from Parks and Recs. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
Yes, so a lot of times in the city of Chesapeake, we kind of hear Parks and Recs, and we think about all of our different local parks or even some of those community rec centers, but there are a lot of different programs that are part of Parks and Recs. Can you kind of explain exactly what is therapeutic recreation?
Absolutely. So therapeutic recreation is goal-based recreation programs specifically for individuals with disabilities. So therapeutic recreation is used in hospitals and all over the place, but this is what we would call a community therapeutic recreation setting. So instead of just serving, like let's say seniors in a long-term care facility, we serve any diagnosis. So in one program, we could have 20 people registered, ranging from 16 and up that have various diagnoses.
Okay. So with your program, do you offer any other incentives or like what kind of programs do you actually offer?
Yep. So we offer, we do dances. Dancing is a big thing for a lot of our participants. So like when it comes to like Halloween or things in the fall, we'll do Monster Mash or we'll do a hoedown and do different events like that. So group events, but then we also do weekly events that are a little bit smaller, where we'll do outings and things like that, where maybe we'll take 8 to 10 individuals with us, so that we can make sure we have the staffing and we can make accommodations, and we'll go do outings in the community, which is one of the things that we do a lot of is community integration, because we want to teach when we go to a restaurant. What are some appropriate things to talk to the waiter or the waitress about? What are some things that you need to know about tipping? How to make a reservation or call in advance to see if something is accessible for you. And just teaching them how to advocate for themselves so that eventually, or when they go out with their family, they know some of the things that they need to do in advance and how to order, how to look up a menu in advance if you are someone who likes to look at that ahead of time so you know what you want to order. Or if you're someone who's not necessarily verbal and you use a communication device, it's important to look those things up in advance so you can plug that in to your device so that you can be ready to order food or have it written down so that you can have all of that ready to go.
Yes. So I would assume that it makes them feel very independent and very self-sufficient because they feel like they are a part of it. They know it's not based off their disabilities. They are a human being as well.
Absolutely. And we try to encourage them to remember what their abilities are. And so many of our folks are capable of way more than what they think they are. And so it's great for us when we can go out in the community or we can do a fun program. We'll do adaptive water sports and do water skiing and do lots of fun things. And a lot of them are like, I'm not going to do that. And I'm like, why don't you just come and watch? And a lot of times if we can get them to the come and watch phase, we can get them to actually try it and do it and really get to do some amazing things and have fun stories to tell at the dinner table when they're, at Thanksgiving or when they've got their friends over talking about their weeks and what they did. They have something to contribute to that conversation as well.
Yes. So because it is the summertime, I know you talked about like different water sports and things. Do you have any upcoming events that those in the community could possibly participate in?
We have a couple adaptive water sports coming up, but we also have, this is the time where we try to give our adults an opportunity to experience kind of an adult summer camp. It's called TR Summer Adventures, where basically Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the next month, we all meet at Great Bridge Community Center and we have an hour in the morning of coffee and breakfast and just some downtime, and then we'll go do an outing, whether it's a dolphin tour or farmer's market visit, or we'll go to Cinema Cafe, depending on the heat. We've had to change some things around, but we'll go to botanical gardens. We'll do, sailboats if we can. So we do lots of different things. So our participants kind of have a wide variety, and we get a lot of feedback from them too. We kind of ask them before we put out new sets of programs, hey, what are there places you want to go? Is there something out, that's new? A lot of them are all over social media, so they have all the top information on the new restaurants that have opened up and new things that they want to try. So we try to accommodate them in that way as well.
Yes, a lot of time food can kind of bring everybody together.
Food
so.
is a thing for us. Yes, if there is food involved, that program for sure is going to fill up immediately.
Yes. So how can people actually sign up or register for some of the activities or programs?
So before anybody participates, it's really important. We do a full intake assessment. So we sit down with the individual because obviously we work with people with various diagnoses. So we want to make sure that we get to know them before we just get into a program. We want to know what your likes are, what your dislikes are. If there are any situations that are triggering or any fears that we need to know about, we want to ask those questions. And not only what those fears are, we want to know if you do get upset or overwhelmed, how can we help de-escalate that with you? Because that's a huge part of us going on outings, is helping with coping skills. And I think we can all say as adults, we don't all have the same coping skills. And learning how to handle issues or handle situations when things don't go your way, or if there's a long line somewhere, or it's really hot and everybody's irritable and you're waiting in line to ride something. You know, how do we appropriately cope with those things, and helping teach those skills by using recreation, because that's what we use as therapy, is recreation. It helps them in their day-to-day when they're out with their parents or doing something that maybe is not something that they really want to do. They can look back on those coping skills. I remember when we were at the Cracker Barrel standing in that store waiting for 25 minutes to go be seated, you know, the breathing techniques or talking through it, or the things that we did to help cope, and that helps them in their day-to-day life.
Yes, I understand. So for Parks and Rec, how does Parks, Recreation, and Tourism create an inclusive environment at some of these special events?
So I will tell you, I work for the greatest department ever, because I came into this department from working in another city for about 15 years doing therapeutic recreation, and I have lived in Chesapeake my whole life. So when I came to Chesapeake, I was ready to go. And so I jumped in and just was like, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. And it's very overwhelming if you're not used to doing a program like this. And so our department has been very welcoming and very open to making necessary changes. So when we do special events, our special event staff is prepared and keeping eyes out, but also our ground staff, our instructional program staff, our athletic staff, they're all very well aware of the things that need to be put in place to make things accessible. So looking at sidewalks, looking at curb cuts, looking at the terrain that the special event's going to be on. You know, if we have things at City Park, do we have enough accessible restrooms? Do we have enough accessible parking spaces and things like that? Those are all really important things, because we want everybody to feel welcome to come and feel like when they come that there's access to everything. So that's very important, because physical access to things is huge.
Yes, I agree. So the fact that Parks and Rec actually do that, you said they're a wonderful program, they're the best that you ever worked with. So the fact they actually do that for individuals that have disabilities is a wonderful thing.
Yes, and they will make purchases, and we've purchased ramps to, you know, if there's not enough curb cuts where we think that it's going to be too crowded, they've purchased ramps and all sorts of things, so that if something is not, you know, in nature and of itself accessible, we will make it accessible.
Yes. So one last thing too, do you work with other organizations in the community to provide more services in the community?
Absolutely. So not only do we work with, like when we do, for example, our adaptive water days, I am not a skier. You may not have noticed that about me when you saw me, but I don't ski. So we have Virginia Beach Adaptive Water Sports, who comes in and provides all the equipment and the specialized things that we need in order to make that possible. So we partner with them to do that. We also partner with CIBH and do programming with them. We partner with CHKD and do programs with them to get the word out, and just to offer more things to people. But one of the largest collaborations that we've started is the therapeutic recreation programs that are in our sister cities and even further out. So as far out as Isle of Wight, we partner with Suffolk and Virginia Beach and Norfolk, and we do programs together. So now some of our special events that used to just be Chesapeake are partnered with, you know, 5 and 6 other cities. And so we're able to do so much more when we all kind of come together, just resource-wise, and do programs. And that creates a wonderful environment for our participants to create interpersonal relationships with each other. So then when we go out on outings and we run into another group somewhere, it's awesome to see them run up and interact and talk to each other, and you know, see all of these people that over the last couple of years they've built relationships with is really awesome. And our department has just been so supportive in us doing that. And you know, we'll show up to events and you know, be out there, you know, on a board during Bellyac when it's 100 degrees outside. So it's a really cool thing to watch, and it's great to be able to work with sister cities, you know, therapeutic recreation departments, and to be able to see what it is that they do and be able to refer people, because we're not competing with one another. Yes, we serve citizens of Chesapeake, but if there's somebody who lives in the city of Norfolk who calls the Therapeutic Rec Center and says, hey, do you have such and so program? They're going to say no, but I know Chesapeake or Virginia Beach does. Here's their contact. So we work very closely together to make sure that we can serve the people in our community the best as possible.
Yes. So it's all a family effort to
Yes.
make sure that everyone feels welcome, everything's inclusive, and so that they can actually feel independent and have fun.
Absolutely.
So Therapy Recreation is a wonderful program, and I do want to say, Melody, thank you for coming and joining us today on the Chesapeake Thrive Show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And thank you for joining us today. We will see you on the next episode of the Chesapeake Thrive Show.